What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? This is Sarns here, bringing you another Smite guide. This guide is for the Egyptian god of war himself, the big Lion King man, Anhur. Anhur is a ranged physical carry. That's right. Thank you, Jesus. Another physical ranged god. We've been waiting on that for a while. Alright guys, here we're going to be talking about Anhur's abilities that he can use. First up we have his passive. His passive ability is Cripple. Anhur's spear attacks reduce the enemy target's physical power by 20% for 3 seconds. That's his passive ability. Okay, next up we have his first activated ability, Shifting Sands. Anhur erects an obelisk from the ground, blocking player movement for 7 seconds. The surrounding sands slow enemies by 20% and increase the damage of Anhur's basic attacks. And I'll show you what that looks like right here. It's just a big bunch of sand with the obelisk right there. And enemies are slowed inside of it, and your physical damage is increased, or your basic attacks are increased. Alright, his second activated ability is Impale. Anhur hurls his spear with great might. If the spear hits a god, they take 285 plus 80% of your physical damage and are knocked back. Gods hitting a wall are stunned for 2 seconds. The spear passes through minions, doing damage to them as well. As you can see right there, the spear passes through the minions, did damage, and it also hit the god in the back, which knocks him back. Now, a good thing you can do with this is to use your obelisk as a wall. You can knock them back into that. That does work. Alright, moving on. Checking out his next ability. His third activated ability is Disperse. Anhur leaps to his ground target location, doing 50 plus 50% of his magical physical damage. Oh my god. Starting over. Alright, Anhur's third activated ability is Disperse. Anhur leaps to his ground target location, doing 50 plus 50% of his physical damage and knocking back all enemies in the radius. And I'll show you what that looks like here. It's a big leap, and boom! Knocks back all enemies in the air. Looking at Anhur's fourth activated ability, his ultimate, Desert Fury. Summoning the Fury of the Desert, Anhur hunkers down and throws 8 empowered spears that pass through everything, doing 95 plus 15% of your physical damage to all enemies in their path. He is immune to knockbacks for the duration. Alright, this is his ultimate. It's basically like a machine gun of spears. That's pretty cool. He just rapid fires them bad boys off. Let's see if we can show you what that looks like here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom! Just like that. So that works in good junction with his other abilities. You can slow inside the obelisk and whatnot to be able to make that more effective. Alright, now that we've seen all of Anhur's abilities, we're going to talk about how we level them up. Basically what I do, I start with your number 2 ability, which would be the spear throw called Impale. And that's going to be your main harassing tool, just to be able to get in there, you know, throw through the creeps, hit the god, which is nice. After that, you know, you're going to take 1 there, then take 1 in obelisk, or the Shifting Sands, which is your obelisk. And then take 1 in Disperse. Now this is going to give you all 3 of the usable moves before your ultimate, of course, that you get at level 5. From then, I'm maxing out Impale first. Then I'm going to be maxing out Shifting Sands, which is your 1, and then your 3, Disperse. Now, of course, in between there, you're going to be leveling up Desert Fury as much as possible. So that's in order of how you're going to be prioritizing the maxing is the same level order that I get them in. Get your 2, then get your 1, get your 3, and then, of course, you're going to put your ultimate in there as much as possible. Alright, in this section, we're going to be talking a little bit about the item build that I use for Anhur. Now, this build can pretty much go... you know, you can go mid, you can go a duo lane or whatever, you can do a 1v2 lane if you have a jungler. He's pretty versatile in what he can do, and he does everything fairly well. So, I went ahead and purchased 1 tier of each item that I use, just to show you guys what it's going to look like when it's finished. Now, because Anhur is a physical god, using his abilities will drain your mana very quickly. So what I like to do is to start off the build with Tier 1 of Warrior Tabby, then I get meditation as well as 3 to 4 health potions, depending on how cautious you'd like to be. From there, I usually leave the boots at tier 1 and go right into Deathbringer. After I finish off the Deathbringer, then I will start to level up the boots the rest of the way. Your move speed isn't all that important. Of course, move speed is important. Don't get me wrong. But I've found that you don't necessarily have to have that much move speed at the very beginning of the game, especially if you're not too worried about getting ganked and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to finish off the Deathbringer, then we're going to finish off the Warrior Tabby. From there, we're going to move into Titan's Bane to be able to get that extra damage to make sure that your Deathbringer is going to its full potential with the physical penetration that you get from that. From there, Fatalis, attack speed and movement speed. Of course, your ability cooldowns will also be reduced with that. This thing is a great item, and that's a lot of attack speed. You're going to be attacking very quickly. Now, paired very well with Fatalis, of course, is the Frostbound Hammer. You're going to be slowing like a madman with this thing. This combined with your Obelisk and your jump, it's going to be nigh impossible for people to be able to escape from you. I'll tell you, it's pretty crazy. So after that, we're going to finish off the build with a Soul Eater just to get some health, some lifesteal, and some more attack speed, which obviously, can't hurt with a physical god. So yeah, that's the build, those 6 items there. You can shift things around a little. It's a fairly squishy build. He does have some natural bulkiness, and he does have, ways to escape with his Obelisk and with his stun and with his jump. So you can play him a little bit riskier build than you would, another god that really has no means of getting out of a sticky situation, if you catch my drift. So anyway, so with our starting build at the very beginning of the game, we've got meditation. So right there, that's our first slot for the abilities there, the activated abilities that you can buy from the store. So other than that, I would also recommend you guys going for the Heavenly Agility. As I've said before in my other guys, I think it's I always prefer it over Sprint just because you can help out your teammates, and since it's an AoE Sprint, it works out really nice. Other than that, if the team is CC heavy, Purification Beads are always helpful to be able to escape from things. You've got your basic Aegis Amulet if you're going against an Anubis that you think that might help you survive his ultimate. Those are the 4 different options. I would definitely have the Sprint and then the Meditation. The other slot can be kind of what you want to your liking, Purification Beads, maybe the Aegis Amulet. If you're feeling really like you want to be going for a lot of kills, you want to be topping the charts, you can also go for the Girdle of Might as well. Alright, in this section we're going to be talking about more of the practical ways to use Anhur and what to do and when to do it and how to use his abilities and all that kind of good stuff. Now, generally in lane, what you want to do is you want to harass with your 2 as much as your mana will allow, because you don't want to run out of mana and then you can't escape a gank or anything like that. But you're going to want to use your 2 as much as possible to put in some damage, and hopefully they won't be just regenning it all back. Now, once you find that you've gotten yourself with the enemy god is fairly low if you're mid, or if you think you want to engage. Now in general, it's going to be better to let whoever you're laning with, if it's like a tankier type of god, let them engage, because they're the ones that can control the situation better normally. But as far as an item sequence goes, if you think you want to go in for a kill, there's a couple different options. The first would be that if you want to use your 3 to jump in beside them, then nail them into the wall with your 2. Then if they try and run, which you can do then, of course, if you haven't killed them already with your ultimate, or if you think you want to use your ultimate, you can also use the Obelisk to block their escape route, which they'll be slowed, and obviously the actual Obelisk in the center will stop them from being able to escape. So let's see if I can show you what that would look like right here. So jump in, turn to the side, smash him into the wall like that, throw down that, he's not going to be able to escape, and then that's pretty much, that was a little messy, but that's basically how it goes. Another option is you could jump in. No, sorry, that was the last one. Alright, and for another option, you can choose to throw up your obelisk right directly behind them. Use 2, throw them right into it. At that point, then if they're trying to escape, you can jump around behind them like that, knock them back onto the wrong side for them of the obelisk, so that way they have to run back through it again if they want to try and escape. At that point, if your ult's up, obviously you'd be using it from there. A couple things to keep in mind: if you're going to help gank in other lanes, you want to make sure that you're not coming into a fight and just going immediately for your, what's it called, impale. If you are using impale right off the bat and you come up behind them, it works well. You can push them into your teammates. But if you come in from the front side, you're going to make sure that you don't push them up forward and away from your teammates. So you got to keep that in mind when you're coming into gank. If you're coming in from the side, oftentimes you can go straight forward as well and smash them right into the wall, put the obelisk up behind them so they can't get away, and ult away for the win. Can't really show you exactly what that would look like with this current setup with only one lane. But basically, yeah, you could just come in from the side, smash them into the wall, try and escape this way, put that there, and then you can ult just like that. So